Boa tarde, pessoal. Tudo bem?
Good
Em
afternoon.
primeiro lugar, obrigado por
First,
participarem.
thank you for
Acho que é um assunto
participating. I think this
relevante para a
is
nossa
quite a
indústria.
relevant topic for our
A indústria de
industry.
pagamentos
The
internacionais
international
tem
payment
sofrido
industry
uma
has
série de
suffered a
alterações.
series of alterations a long
Muitas
time, many of which
adaptações são necessárias
have been
e hoje a gente vem
important
trazer
adaptations. Today we
algumas
will bring to you
considerações
a few
que
considerations that we
nós
have
vamos
studied
trazer
a great
bastante para
deal
vocês a
about
respeito de pagamentos
regarding
internacionais.
traditional paying methods.
Então, eu vou começar
So I will
falando
begin
o quão importante
how
está sendo
important
agora
it is
olhar para os
to
clientes dos
look
bancos, né? Vocês já
to
sabiam
the
isso com muito mais
banking
tempo, com muito
customers.
mais propriedade.
You knew
O
that
Swift
already with
vem,
a lot more,
desde o início do ano,
a lot more than us, and
estudando
Swift has been
sobre
working with the
estudar quais
banks
são as
to study
principais
which
ações que
are
a gente tem
the
para
main
melhorar a
ways
experiência
we
dos
have to
bancos, né?
improve
E a gente está fazendo isso
customer
porque
experience.
a gente
Why
vem
are we doing
observando um
that?
número cada vez
We are
maior de
seeing a
pagamentos,
larger and larger
tanto em
number
volume, em
of
quantidade,
payments
globalmente, né?
globally,
O número de novos entrantes, né? Fintechs, outros bancos, trazendo
fintechs,
novidades,
other
trazendo
banks
disrupturas
bringing
para
disruption
nossa indústria, né?
to our
Os custos também
industry
vêm com fragmentação,
with
riscos
fragmentation,
associados
the
com
associated
fragmentação, né?
risks with fragmentation.
Então tem uma série
So there is a
de
series
itens
of
que tornam
items
a questão de
which make
melhoria
the
da
issue
experiência do
of
cliente final, você
improvement of the
conseguir
final
encantar o
customer so
cliente,
you can
fidelizar o cliente, cada vez mais
vitalize
necessária.
the customer. This is more and more necessary.
Então, o que que a gente está observando, né? O que que os clientes estão demandando?
So what are
A
the
gente vai focar
customers
aqui
asking for?
mais na questão de
We will
pequenos
focus
varejo e pequenas e
on
médias empresas, tá?
small and
Então, acho que a
medium
primeira coisa é
companies.
simplicidade. Então, a
First thing
experiência que
is
os clientes possuem hoje
simplicity. The
é
experience
fazer uma
that the
compra em outros mercados,
customers want today to buy, like in Amazon, for
é
example,
muito
is
simples.
very
E
straightforward,
a
very
gente está tentando
intuitive,
trazer
and we
isso
are
no mundo de
trying to bring
pagamentos.
that to the
Então,
payment
esse é um dos
world.
temas que a
This
gente
is
está
one of the
identificando
topics which we are
como
identifying as
as
being
pilares de uma mudança que a gente
a
está
pillar
pregando, né?
of the
Além disso, o que que os
changes that
clientes
we
estão
are
demandando cada
preaching.
vez
What do
mais?
the clients demand
Transparência
more
em
and more?
relação aos custos,
Transparency regarding
transparência em
costs,
relação ao longo
transparency
prazo,
regarding the
previsibilidade do
speed and
negócio, né? De
predictability
enviar
in
e
which
receber o
you will be
pagamento,
able to
né?
send
E a
and receive
possibilidade de
payment, and the
acompanhar o
possibility
pagamento ao
of
longo do ciclo de vida.
following this
Todos esses
payment along the
temas
life
estão
cycle. These are all very
a gente
important
está
items
discutindo
that we are
com as instituições
discussing
financeiras
with the financial
para
institutions
conseguir
to be able
ajudá-los
to
a
help
tornar
them
a nossa
to
experiência de
make
pagamento cada
our
vez mais
payment
forte e
experience
mais fluida.
more and more fluid.
E para a gente atender
For us
essas
to
quatro demandas que a gente acabou
meet
de
all
falar,
of these demands that we
a gente
saw
tem que
here,
unificar
we must
duas
unify two great things,
Primeiro,
two
a
big
gente ter um
things. First,
front
having a
bastante forte,
very
bastante
strong
simples
and simple
e
front
nítida
that
e
allows the
visualmente,
customer to visually
visualmente
and
conseguir
processually
ter uma
to
melhor
be able to have a
experiência,
better
né?
experience,
Seja uma facilidade de tela, seja facilidade de processo,
be it
seja uma
in
redução no número de
processes, the
cliques,
reduction in
seja
number of
uma
clicks,
redução na quantidade de
reduction
erros
in the
que ele
number
nem
of
sabe que pode ocorrer,
mistakes that
né?
they
Toda
don't
essa
even
parte
know
do
can
front
happen, and all of
está
this part of the
bastante
front
embasada
is very
por uma
based
infraestrutura
on a
robusta
robust
que possibilite
infrastructure
que essa
that
experiência tenha
allows this experience to
tanto a
have
velocidade
both the
quanto a parte
speed
de redução de
as
fricção
the
bem exaltada.
friction reduction very well established.
E o que que a Swift então
And
está fazendo
what is
para a
Swift
gente
doing
ajudar
for us
os
or to
bancos e as
help the
instituições
banks and
financeiras
financial institutions
nessa nova
in this
jornada
new journey
bastante
that
interessante,
is
né?
quite
Então,
interesting?
a gente vem trazendo uma série
We
de
are bringing a
serviços e produtos
series of
que a gente
services and
considera
products that we
serviços de valor
consider
agregado
services of added
que
value
fazem parte do
which
processo
tackle part
de
of the
pagamento,
payment
específico do
process,
processo de
very
pagamento.
specific part of
Isso
that.
termina
And
trazendo
this ends up
uma maior
on bringing
simplicidade,
more
uma possibilidade do banco
fluidity, the
trazer
possibility of
maior
the bank
transparência para os
bringing more
clientes,
transparency to its customers beyond
seja
cost
através da velocidade ou
transference
previsibilidade do
or
pagamento,
predictability of
né?
payment.
E por fim,
And
a
finally,
redução
as we have
conseguir
mentioned,
possibilitar que
making it available for the customer to have a traceability of his payment flow. So these are very relevant points or topics. We understand that through the implementation of these services, the adoption of these products, we will have a stronger and stronger market that will allow us to have a much more interesting experience with the customer. For us to leave the theoretical ground, we brought one of the big institutions here in Brazil, which is in this journey of adoption and implementation of these services, who will talk to you a little bit about the experience in XP itself. So I brought Selena. She will be the person who will tell you how XP is dealing with the international payment products. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for the invitation, for being here. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Selena, for us to start, I think one of the big topics that we talk a lot about with the financial institutions globally has to do with the strategy of payment, especially for how is XP dealing with these factors regarding these disruption moments that we are seeing in the moment. Before talking about payments, I think it's important for us to say that quality is one of our most important strategic pillars that permeate all our decision-making processes in XP. So thinking about investment, for example, when we think about how to bring quality, we want to help our customers to meet their financial goals, their investment needs. And on that respect, we have had several initiatives to help them through planning, through a recent experience of physical person's app that brings a much more flowless or seamless experience and much more efficient one. And that's what we look for when we're thinking about payments. When we think about this simple and safe and efficient experience, this is precisely the translation of quality in the experience of our customers. And how do we do that in XP? Everything begins with a very robust methodology structured for us to guarantee the understanding of our customers. And when we say customers, it's not only the physical persons, it's our partners, our internal areas, operations, the compliance areas. So we first try to understand and identify the pains, the problems, the opportunities, their needs. We have a study, we prototype, we have tests with them, and then we have a process of development, and we deliver the product to our customers, final customers, through pilots, phasing, implementation, and finally the cycle of understanding feedbacks of how these products are returning to our customers and the improvement of these products. When we think in practice to our customers, thinking about exchange, I think for us from the market, the exchange market, when we think about placing in the pre-sale, what is the banking channel, what are the big codes, ABA, IBAN, it's a soup of letters for our final customers. And for us it seems obvious, but for our final customers it's not that obvious. And what we try to do is how can we translate that to the customer? Let's use an AI to read this data, and we are able to populate easily for the customer. Because in the end, what the customer wants is that this process is be streamlined, and he wants to find this value and make the payment that needs to be done. This is one of these examples in this part of pre-sales, specifically, for example, feeling the exchange nature, the customer needs to select what is the type, the sub. This is also quite complex. So how did you bring this experience to him, to them? We should bring, yep, they must choose objectives, what they want to do with this payment. Is it an investment? Is it to maintain their account for a family member that lives in the US or a supplier in Europe? Simple questions that we must ask so we can fill in the blanks for the customer. I'm talking about the experience, but we have several integrations that must take place in the background.
That is what we have in Swift to help with the integration so that we can enable a streamlined experience for customers. Cool. You touched upon something I wanted to expand. Today, when we think about a market with a corresponding bank, we still have the perception that does not always correspond to reality. A payment through a corresponding bank is slow and goes with cumbersome processes that are not that clear, that do not offer good visibility, given all the things we have been talking about so far. So how does XP see the presence of SWIFT as a facilitator for you to achieve your goals? Yes, certainly. It's helped a lot. You've been an essential partner for us to guarantee the attainment of our goals with clients, which is to receive a value from a final beneficiary in a safe way. So some examples, when considering speed, we recently implemented the global payment innovation. So when we look at those types of payments, we have incredible benefits. More than 45% of those transactions come to the final beneficiary in less than an hour. There are transactions that actually take minutes, considering the closing of the payment slip. So that offers something very fast. Other products we have integrated together with SIPT to bring that together in terms of transparency. We have SWIFT with an immense database. How does that contribute? Well, we guarantee that the client, when he fills out the information, he can actually work with the IBAN, the IBAN, which is the International Banking Code, the BIC, the ABA, and we can then guarantee that data is correct in real time in the app, in web, in our internal hubs, and that avoids reprocessing and rework. So whenever they fill out that information, they are sure that that's the right information. They do not wait for an hour just to discover that the data is not correct and that they do something else. And now, traceability with GPI, we can access GPI tracker, which basically is having traceability of the operation and end-to-end. So when the payment occurs and it's traveling around the world to going somewhere, we can know what's the intermediary bank and also how long it will take to reach the destination in the beneficiary's bank. That offers you gains. We integrated that last year, so now our consultants can have the visibility at which stage the payment can be found with more transparency, less anxiety, and that reduces the investigation. Of course, we still have investigations opened, and then we can check at what time or where they are, and that reduces the response time, the costs for us to open investigations, and that has offered immense gains in terms of transparency for our clients. Something we also want to say is that this product is for our final clients. So today we do purchases, and it's obvious in e-commerce At what time of the process is the product? So this is the DPI tracker, working with that transparency for clients. So they are there working with payment slips. They close the operation and they are able to accompany where the payment is until they reach the final beneficiary with the delivery time. So transparency is going to be great for all the areas, both for clients and the consultants, internal areas, operations teams, etc. Nice. It's nice to hear that, and also that the implementation is offering you benefits for all your entities. That shows the proof that technology, when you use it in a strategic way, can be of great benefits. And for us to talk about the XP strategy and also work with the Swift products from the technological standpoint, the implementation of all those services and all those products that XP is offering in-house. Tell us, please, how is your internal process? If that's something simple, we have been working with APIs so that we can enable better reductions when adopting those tools. Certainly, there is the help of technological teams from Swift and yourselves. We work really close and we have APIs for the integrations. We still have lots of steps ahead when considering that. And I'm leaving a bit this partnership, XP and Swift, in order to think broadly regarding interoperability in different liquidity systems in different countries. We have also legacy systems for the API integrations. But I believe that these new solutions that we launched in Swift have brought incredible benefits and frictionless solutions that have helped a lot in order to evolve in the integration of products.
Bem, pessoal, então a gente está chegando aqui no final.
We are coming to the end.
O que a XP passou aqui de mensagens em relação a toda a implementação.
What we gave you regarding the implementation of services and benefits.
É algo que a gente tem batido muito forte, discutido intensamente com vocês, a importância de
This is what we have discussed with you, the importance of
abraçar essas novas tecnologias
and being able to embrace these new services
da própria instituição.
in favor of the institution and your clients.
A gente fica à disposição aqui para conversar.
We are here at your disposal to talk later. Should you have any questions, please look for us. And thanks again. Thanks for your participation. Thanks to XP and to FEBRABAN. Thank you very much.